Hey, what's up? My name's JM Chaley and welcome to my channel. This week, I want to talk about something that I haven't tried before that I'm trying now, and it's been challenging. And it's like I said, it's nothing that I've tried until now, and I'm kind of in the middle of it right now, and I want to share the experience with you and the challenges that have gone with it. And what I'm talking about, you say, well, what is it? Well, what I'm talking about is working on two manuscripts at once, which I've never done that. I've never wanted to do that because I feel like if I'm working on something, my head is 100% into that work in progress. And if I shift to something else, then that means that thing's been shelved. It's may not see the light of day again, right? But bouncing back between manuscripts, two active manuscripts that I plan on publishing, that's a new one for me. So, what have I done? So first, some background. The first manuscript I'm working on is the sequel to The Unlife of Lisa Cooper, Conviction, which is yes, over here. This one over here. The sequel to The Unlife of Lisa Cooper. I plan on that coming out in the summer, hopefully. And right now it's with beta readers as of this recording, which is in early March 2025. I have another manuscript that I'm looking to submit to a small press this spring. This would be a traditionally published endeavor. It's a novella. I can't go into a lot of detail about the book or the press at this time. That those details will come, I promise. But right now, I'm not going to talk a lot about that book or what my plans for publishing are, other than it's going to be a small press. It is a novella. It's about 32,000 words. And my sequel is about 76,000 words. So here's kind of what I did. I've been working on The Unlife of Lisa Cooper's sequel for over a year. And I finished it, was it the summer, maybe early fall of last year? And then I was checking out this small press. And they announced that they were going to be open to submissions in the spring. So here it was, I want to say early fall. And I thought to myself, can I write a novella between now and the spring of 2025? And it was tight. And I thought, if I stick to word counts and stuff like that, yes, I can. So here's what I did. Now, I'm not good at toggling back and forth between projects. I mentioned that. One thing I didn't want to have to do is work on editing The Unlife of Lisa Cooper's sequel while I was writing a whole other book. Why? Because the protagonist between the two books have different voices. And the last thing I wanted to do was get some voice in my head and have something bleed over that didn't belong. So I really wanted to be detached. So the good news was one big thing, which was when I finish a manuscript, which I finished The Unlife of Lisa Cooper's sequel, and I put it away for like 20-something days. That's something I'll always do. Whenever I finish a first draft, I put it away for like 20-something days, just shy of a month. Then I go back and do edits when I've had time to like disconnect and marinate on a few things and just taking some time. So I'm not diving in hot and making hasty decisions. And I don't want to be too close to it when I'm doing the edits. I want to be a little detached and try to come in with like fresh eyes. So I've shelved this thing in the fall. Start working on a brand new manuscript. Now I'm working on this thing a month or so. It's coming along, the novella, and it's time for me to pull the sequel off the shelf for edits, I don't do it. I'm like, nope. I make the decision to keep going with the novella. Why? Because I don't want to mix my voices in my head, right? Because the protagonist in one story is different than the protagonist in the other, and they're different people, they sound different, whatever. Now, if you're the kind of author that can do that and toggle between and say, hey, Monday I'm going to work on this, Tuesday I'm going to work on that, great. Try it, see if it works for you. I know it won't work for me, so here's what I did. I kept trucking through with the novella because I had that tight deadline of the spring to get in touch with, to make. With my sequel, I can publish that whenever I want to. It's self-published. I want to hit the summer. If it becomes the fall, it's not a big deal, right? But that deadline of submissions open in the spring, that's a hard deadline. What I was afraid of is submissions would open in the spring, they'd get a bunch of, submissions, and then they go, oh, we've got like X number of submissions, we're going to close down submissions now, and we're going to reopen them again in the fall or whatever. And then I miss my window, or I have to put it off. I want to get in that first round if I can. That's the goal. So I finished my novella in late last year, in December. Not too bad. 3 months, a little more than 3 months, 32,000 words. Not too bad. So I finished the first draft of my novella. Now, even though I'm on such a tight deadline, I want to put that novella away for 20-something days. Pains me to do it, but I really want to make it as best as it can be, so I need to shelve it. Now I bring back the Unlife of Lisa Cooper series in January, and I start looking for critique partners. I get my critique partners. They're awesome, and I'm able to go through that critique partner process inside of a month. Okay, now I'm ready for... Here's where worlds collide. Now I'm ready for the Unlife of Lisa Cooper sequel beta readers and to start doing edits on the novella that I have. You keeping up? I'm confusing myself. All right. The good news is that this work is really just legwork of recruiting betas. I'm not doing edits right now. So while I'm doing edits on the novella, I don't really have to worry about anyone's voice bleeding out into anywhere else, because I'm really just doing logistics and administrative stuff. Hey, I'm looking for betas. I've already done my critique partner process and made edits on their feedback. It's done. Now I'm doing edits on the novella. This only takes me a couple of days to do. Maybe little less than a week. 32,000 words. I go through it pretty quickly. I do a full read through. It didn't take that long. Then I start looking for critique partners on the novella. Meanwhile, I'm starting to get beta feedback on my first book, and I'm making those edits. So now it's shift from edits here, logistics there. So I was doing logistics here, edits there. Now I'm doing edits here, logistics there. So did I do that right? You know what I mean. I hope you're following along. It's very messy. I don't want to be in a position where I'm doing edits at the same time on both manuscripts. Now, here we are in early March. It's trucking along. Submissions can open up anytime for this small press. They just said the spring. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means March 21st or April sometime or May sometime. I don't know what that means. So I'm looking at it rather aggressively and thinking I want to be able to get critique partners and beta readers in before submissions open on this novella. So I'm doing something a little crazy. And I'd love to know your thoughts in the comments. I'm doing something a little crazy. I'm recruiting critique partners and beta readers at the same time. And I'm kind of gonna let them go at the manuscript simultaneously, which is something I normally would never do. I'd want to go through critique partners first to make sure that the craft of the book is working right, and then edit it, give it to beta readers, and they tell me more about, you know, how it feels, what lands, what doesn't. At this point, I'm going to give it all to everyone and just kind of go with the flow and see what happens. The other problem is that I have a small but mighty list of folks that I can kind of tap for critique partner and beta readers. These are author friends, these are family members, they're buddies of mine, whoever they are. It's not a long list, but it's a dependable list of awesome people. I tapped most of them for the Unlife of Lisa Cooper series. Well, I didn't want to double tap and say, oh, now can you read this? Because they've literally just read a 76,000, 76,000 word manuscript. And, I don't want to overtax them or, take advantage. So I'm looking for kind of new people from scratch, which is tough, especially with the deadline. There are a couple of people that I know that are on my, my list. I'm going to be tapping them as well, but yeah, it's been pretty crazy. So 2 manuscripts at once, that's how I've been doing it. I'm open to suggestions. If you've ever worked on 2 manuscripts at once, I'd love to hear your feedback. What do you think of how I approached it, with kind of toggling between, finishing writing one and then shelving it and then writing the other and then shelving that and then the edits on one, right? And then the edits on the next, and then the administration looking for readers here with edits here, and then administration here and then edits there, and back and forth like a seesaw. Trying not to burn myself out or introduce risk by typing in 2 voices at once in the same time period, So we'll see how it goes. There'll be an update. I'm going to let you know how that goes with my submission to this small press. And of course, stick around with this channel to find out what's going on with the Unlife of Lisa Cooper series, which is always ongoing and whatnot. Still shooting for the summer. I do have an update on the cover art. I'm going with J.K. Woodward, who did the cover art for the Vampires of 1863. Love that art. So it's going to be another watercolor painting for the cover. Very excited about that. And I can't wait to share it with you when I have it ready to share. Yeah, so that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please smush that like button, and as always, please subscribe. You can find me on a multiple number of social media platforms. They're all listed below, but I'm most active on Facebook, Blue Sky, and Threads. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.